So busy day today. The worktop's just been delivered. So it's an 822mm worktop, nice and thin, to try and keep the weight down. This is way bigger than what we'll need, and they'll be cut out, so we'll drop some weight that way. So these surfaces have an A and a B side. I'm starting on the B side, and I've just gone over with 240 grit sander with the grey, just to make sure it's super smooth. Then I will wipe all the dust off, let it dry, and then we'll put the first coat of Danish oil on. Okay, first coat is done. So I'll wait 4 to 8 hours, probably more like 4, and repeat. And then we need to protect the other side as well, but I'll spend a bit more time sanding that one down so it's absolutely perfect. In the meantime, I can get back to sanding the van. Oh, I've got to sand it today. Oh, yeah, another layer of Danish oil. So in the end I ended up doing 4 layers of Danish oil on each side and all of the edges. On the top side, to get a really nice smooth finish, I used 400 grit sandpaper to apply the Danish oil. And honestly, I'm surprised at how nice a finish it's produced. It's super smooth, which was class. Bit of a pain, but every time you make a cut you then need to seal the edges with Danish oil, so it's just a time consuming process, but a pretty satisfying one. So the next stage was cutting the worktop to the correct width. The reason why I oiled it first was there was quite a delay from it being delivered to me being able to install it, so I didn't want the wood to warp or anything, so I wanted to protect it as soon as possible. But I just measured 1,000 times to make sure that I got it the correct width, and then used a straight piece of wood to guide my blade in a straight line to make sure that we got a nice cut, and it went easy as, there was no trouble. Another little tip that I picked up was to make sure that the surface was upside down when I was cutting on it, and that means that there's no ugly marks left on the wood. The blade cuts on the upstroke, so you get that rough edge on the upper surface, not the lower surface, and therefore when I flip it round, the actual surface which is going to be seen is going to look in primo condition. Okay, so I'm just going to cut out the gap for the oven, and then the other top tip, definitely need a really sharp blade to get a clean cut, and that's made a world of difference, so pretty happy with that. You can read so much into it, but there's a difference between ripping and cross-cutting. And for fine cross-cutting cuts you need lots of teeth, and then for ripping you need less teeth. I've gone for a happy medium of 40 teeth on a 165 blade, and that seems to be doing the trick on a 22mm thick worktop. I think if it was 40mm and I was doing the long ripping cuts, I might struggle a bit, but it's been sweet, no burning on the wood or anything like that, so yeah, let's try and not muck this up. Work surface, we're Danish oiling that, the chamfered edge, which we did yesterday, which has a really nice touch to it. It's very subtle, but I think it makes a big difference. Cut out for where the oven is, and then there's where we're going to make a piano hinge, so we can get into a big storage box. And then we just need to cut the sink whenever that arrives. And well, sink fits, but I just scratched the inside of the bloody thingy. Anyway, I think it's time to call it a night. Okay, I lied, I couldn't call it a night there. So I popped the worktop on, and I'm gonna just place the sink in. Now it won't fit completely because of this beam here, but at least I can rest it in and have a look at it. Okay, so this is where I'm going to drill the hole for the tap, and this time we're working with the good side up, because when you use the hole saws they tend to cause splintering on the underneath surface as you push through, and then I'll also put a bit of wood underneath the drill into to try and support it and reduce that. That will be all nicely sanded off and hidden, most importantly, under the tap, and no real burning of the wood. Happy with that. Alright, next job of the day is putting the piano hinge on, so we can open this work surface up and then get into storage, because there's going to be a seat here, so we can't have drawers or anything like that, that'd be daft, so we're going to have a nice big storage unit in there. So these are awesome because you can cut them to length, it's just trying to line them up and making sure that the gap on each side of the cupboard is the same, otherwise it would drive me mental. And it may not be the same because I have limited DIY abilities, but I'm doing my best. I've just fitted the worktop, so that's now screwed on, which is a bit of a relief. So oak expands, so you have to drill a big hole and then put a screw in a washer, so then as the oak expands and contracts it can wiggle around, but it's still solid in place. So awesome looking tap. Loads of clearance between the oven. We'll make a big oak chopping board here to come together. Woo!